Hello, I'm Darren Chapman, owner of Precision Smokers. Today I'm going to teach you how to barbecue a brisket using your Smokester by Precision Smokers. I'm going to show you every step of the way. First, you're going to need to get together all of your ingredients. I have a brisket, I have salt and pepper, I have garlic powder, and cayenne powder. That's all the ingredients you're going to need. I'm going to show you every step. The first thing to do is to go light the smoker. So let's get that done. The way that I do a brisket is I'll put in a piece of hardwood. That's pecan. Then what I do is I cover it up with charcoal. I use the hardwood just for a little extra. All right. Lighting the Smokester is very easy. All it takes is 2 pieces of newspaper. You put them into the newspaper holder and then you light them. That's it. We'll come back in a couple of minutes and it will be lit. The newspaper has just about finished burning out. It's caught a couple of the charcoal briquettes above it on fire, and so that's good enough. You can just make out the charcoal above the newspaper that's lit. That's all that you need. It's time to close up the smoker. You can see that I lit the fire with both doors open. That's very important. You always want to leave the doors open when you're lighting it for the first time. The last time I used this, I was cooking chicken. So you can see that the pit is still set at 275, and I have the temperature probe in the pit position. I need to change the temperature of the pit to 230, so let's get that done. As you can see, the pit is at 92 degrees, on its way up to 230 degrees. Now let's go make the rub. The rub is a very easy rub. We're going to use 1/4 cup of black pepper. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of salt. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And we're going to use 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. That's enough rub for 1 brisket. Okay, let's trim the brisket. Now when you're doing a brisket in the Smokester, it is a very humid environment in there because there's not a ton of airflow. So what you're going to do is you're going to take off a lot more of this fat than you would if you were using a traditional smoker. So I'm going to show you how I do it. First, I start working on the decal. You got to get all of this fat off. This does nothing for you. All it does is it gives you big bites of fat when you're trying to eat your brisket. I personally don't like that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to freshen up all the edges. And this is because, you know, when they vacuum seal it, These edges to me look like they get a little beat up. So I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I just don't trust these edges. They seem like they dry out. This top edge here, you can see this looks a little fishy, so we're gonna get rid of that. I don't like that either. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start cutting all of the fat out of this area here and back along here. And I'm almost removing the flat from the point, but not quite. I'm not gonna remove that much fat, but I'm gonna remove a lot of it. Now on a traditional smoker, you wouldn't remove this much fat. Because you would want to use it to keep your brisket moist. But on my smoker, you don't need it. And I do it, a lot of it by feel. If it's firm, I remove it. All right. There's still some firm fat in here. Get rid of that. All right. Now if you remove this little top part, you're actually going to get a separation, so I'm going to leave just a little bit holding it all in place there. Now you can see this brisket is much flatter because I removed all that fat in between the two layers, the two muscles. That's how I like it. Some people like all that fat. I personally do not. I don't like getting a big mouthful of fat when I try to eat the thing. Let's flip it over. Now, on the back side, you want to get it down to about 1/8 of an inch. This can be tricky. It takes a little bit of practice. What you do is you look at the edges and you see where you are in terms of thickness. And I got a little too deep there. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Try not to do that too many times. You'll be all right.
And the reason I do this is because when I put the rub on, I want to taste some of that rub while I'm eating it. And if all of this fat is sitting on top, you're just going to cut that off and throw it away. No one wants to eat a big mouthful of fat. And that smoker is so efficient with the airflow, you don't need all this fat. A lot of smokers you do, this one you do not. So we're going to remove most of it. Way more fat than you need. I've got a trash can back here that I'm throwing all this into, if you're wondering what I'm doing with it all. See, I get pretty close to the muscle. And you'll have to experiment with this at home as to what you think works best for you. I personally remove way more than I think most people do. And people think that if you remove this much that it's going to be dry, but you'll see at the end of the video this is not going to be dry. All right. So now it's mostly cleaned off in the back. I've left a little bit, a little too much right here. There we go. Okay. So it's all cleaned up in the back. So I've left a little bit on the other side. I just leave all this. I think that's fine. And then inside the middle, there's a little bit of hard fat still in there. Not a ton. If I were to remove it, all the pieces would separate. So I leave it just like that. Now it's time to put the rub on. This is the rub that we made earlier. Now I'm going to use most of this rub for this one brisket, so I don't mind using my fingers to do it. If I weren't going to do that, if I were going to use a much lighter rub, then I would put it in a shaker and use that. But I'm going to throw what's left away. So here we go. So this is the salt and pepper, garlic powder, and cayenne. Get it all on that side. We're gonna flip it over. We're gonna do this back side. All right, let's do the edges. Get up in the pocket there. All right, there you go. It's ready. That's all that I have left, so I'm going to throw that away. The smoker is still running its warm-up program. It's at 144 degrees on its way up to 230, and that's fine. We're going to go ahead and put the brisket in while it's still warming up. Now I'm going to put this temperature probe right into the thickest part of the brisket, like that. So as you can see, the brisket is at 44 degrees. I have a program to take the brisket up to 203 degrees and then stop. The next time that we're going to look at this brisket is going to be in about 11 hours. We'll come back and take it out. I'll see you then. It's been right at 11 hours. The meat got to 203. The pit turned itself down to 170. And the LCD screen started blinking. So let's get this brisket out of the smoker. All right, this looks pretty good. All right, let's cut into this and see what it looks like. All right, not too bad. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.